So, this is just a brief conversation about joy and how joy is really sort of the end result of a lot of choices that we make, whether or not we're aware of it. So, in the work that I do with my clients, we have this fun little exercise that looks at joy in various aspects of our lives: relationships, career, money, health, etc. And then time, where we spend our time. And the intersection of these 2 points is this assessment, this result of joy. And it helps to really visually show us that we are in control of moments, or maybe overall interpretations of how we feel in areas of our life, those areas that we may feel very joyful or lacking joy in. So, one resource that I love to call back to is this book, The Wisdom of No Escape by Pema Chodron, who is a monk. And in one of her chapters of this book, it's about joy. And in this section of the book, she tells a story. And it goes, there's a woman who's running away from tigers. She runs, and the tigers are getting closer and closer. When she comes to the edge of a cliff, she sees some vines there. So she climbs down and she holds on to the vines. Looking down, she sees that there are tigers below her as well. She then notices that a mouse is gnawing away at the vines to which she is clinging. She also sees a beautiful little bunch of strawberries close to her, growing out of a clump of grass. She looks up, she looks down, and then she looks at the mouse. Then she takes a strawberry, puts it in her mouth, and enjoys it thoroughly. So, I don't even want to imagine that situation, right? Like, how, with all of that going on, is the answer reach for the strawberry? But that's joy, and that's sort of joy in our living. There's always that tiger in front of us, that thing that is causing an adverse or a fearful sort of anticipatory type response. And there's always something behind us that says, well, this happened, and it continues to rob us of joy. And then the mouse gnawing at the vine that we're holding on to is the current moment, that distraction, that thing that threatens to pull us away. Something as simple as low back pain. It's a gnawing mouse. Knowing that that all exists and still being able to sit here and say, but insert something joyful. That's the sweetness of the moment. That's the strawberry. And so going back to this point, that if we look at situations where it's either a tiger ahead of us, a tiger behind us, or something gnawing, and we assess it, we look at it, and we start to ask questions. What was going on? Where was it happening? Who was there? Why? And then asking how. How were you showing up in the current moment? How are you choosing either to participate in the moment, or even how are you remembering this moment? Those are the components of joy. And how you bring that attention, you can then say, well, was it my intention? Was I specifically focused on doing that, or for this to happen this way? And if the answer is, well, no, I wasn't really paying attention to it, then maybe you could start to build that relationship between those 2 points. If you spend a lot of time and attention on something, the outcome, whether it's joyous or lacking joy, is really based on how you're choosing that moment. So you can try it. If you think about something that made you feel very joyful, say your relationships are going really well. You've got overall this sensation, this feeling that relationships in your life bring you joy. That doesn't mean that every relationship brings you joy, but it does mean that overall, the relationships that you're choosing to bring your awareness and attention and time to right now are the ones that are that bunch of sweet strawberries in the grass. Those are the ones that your mind is coming to. That's where you're putting your time. That's where you're putting your attention. So go ahead and play around with this. Notice what comes up for you. And if you're like, I kind of get this, but I don't, and I wish I had more information, reach out to me and we can go through the formal exercise together, and you can begin to build that correlation, that relationship between, you can choose to fret over the tiger ahead of you. You can choose to fret the tiger behind you. You can pay complete attention to that mouse gnawing at you. It doesn't mean that those strawberries still aren't there, that the sweetness of that moment isn't available to you. It's where you focus your time and your attention. So go ahead, play around with this, reach out if you want to talk more about it.